had a bunch of questions coming into the chat and also the Q&A, which I'm going to post here. One of them that's come up quite a bit is about recording. So I know we gave you a ton of information and hopefully it was really helpful. But if you want to re-watch a part of this, we will be posting it on YouTube, and we will also be sending you a copy of the recording. If you are an instructor or a librarian and you think this would be helpful for your students, please, post the link on your LMS or on your LibGuide, or share it with your students, because we really are trying to help. So in terms of questions, Heather asks, as we know, there is a lot of information that was available before this administration came into office and now is no longer available or able to be accessed online. Is there a way to cite something that no longer actually exists online, but you have a PDF copy? So this is a really good question, partially because this very thing happened to me in one of my blog posts. So Chelsea, would you like to answer this?
I would be happy to. Thank you. The main thing to be mindful of is that you want readers to be able to see the source that you're citing. That's if there is no source, then you don't really have a source, right? So there's a couple of different approaches that you could take, and which one is appropriate is going to depend on a number of different factors, including like the context in which something is being submitted and like how it's being published. Like, is this being published for the whole world to see? Is this versus like, is this a classroom assignment? One option would be to find an archived version of the page, such as from the Internet Archive, which I think is archive.org, and check that version against the PDF version that you have saved, and then you can just write the regular reference list entry, except the link at the end of the reference would go to the archived version. So that's one approach. However, sometimes I've heard of publications not necessarily wanting to link to the Internet Archive, in which case they have taken it out and looked for something else that is supporting that information, which is a lot less satisfying than just citing the thing that you wanted to cite in the first place. But those are the two like main ways I've seen it done. But I mean, there's lots of options. I mean, theoretically, if you wanted, you could explain in your text that you have a copy of such and such, and like include that as part of your submission. Like lots of things are possible, and I think the exact strategy is going to depend on who you are and who you're writing for.
Great. Thank you, Chelsea. And in addition, I have heard of various libraries and other organizations that are trying to archive some of this information, especially data sets. So yeah, hopefully there is kind of a traceable format for
that would be another reputable way to do it, I think.
We also have a question. If the idea is mine, how can I put it in an APA citation? So this depends. Have you published it before, or is it new? Right, Chelsea? What do you think?
Yes, exactly. The thing is, if your idea is your new original idea in the paper that you're writing, that's it. No citation. It's your idea. That's the point of writing your paper, is that you're saying something new. If you really want to make it clear that it's coming from you, you are in fact allowed to say I, like the pronoun I, in an APA style paper. You can say I think, or talk about your own reactions. That is allowed. Whether your instructor might have more specifics about like whether they want you to do that, but you don't cite yourself. Because your name is on it as the author of the paper, anything that's not otherwise attributed, that is attributing it to you by putting your name on it.
Awesome, thank you. Our next question is who and when to cite ChatGPT. So I'm thinking that is how do you cite it and when do you cite ChatGPT? So this is a really good question, especially because I'm not sure if this audience is all aware, but we updated our AI guidance very recently. We had a series of 3 blog posts that came out, I think a week or 2 ago. So if somebody on the APA style team would not mind putting those links in the chat. Basically, what has changed is because technology is a little bit different than when it was when we wrote our first blog post in 2023, you can now cite a specific chat in ChatGPT, or you can just cite it generally. In terms of the who is the author, we know that an AI tool cannot be an author. So we use the company that provides that product. So in the case of ChatGPT, that's OpenAI. In terms of when to cite it, our second blog post talks about when ChatGPT is used as a database and things like that. There are a lot of reasons why you'd want to cite ChatGPT. In your paper, put it in the method section. But if you're just using it for simple edits or something like that, you don't necessarily need to cite it. And as Jasmine was saying in her part of the paper, if you're using it to find sources and then you go and read those sources yourself, you don't necessarily have to cite it there. Chelsea, Jasmine, anything to add?
No, that sounds good. Just keeping in mind that this is always evolving, and so the guidance that we have now may change, and but we're always trying to stick to the same principles of being ethical, of giving credit, and of being transparent.
I think it's really important to focus on what you're citing. Are you citing words or something that was made by experts, or are you citing essentially the output of like a probability machine that isn't necessarily like they know from the way that large language models work that they're going to make mistakes. And there's a little disclaimer, even this at the bottom of the page that says, oh, it's going to make mistakes. And I think that even though it feels maybe easy to some that you're gonna just ask ChatGPT and like, why can't I just get AI to just write it for me or think about it for me? That it's we're saying to prioritize stuff that is, written by humans and that you also human are going through the writing process to figure out how to communicate your ideas.
Great. Thank you so much, Chelsea. So I know we have a number of additional questions, but we are running out of time. So if you want more information, there are a number of ways to contact us and get information. So you can reach out to us in any of our social media, or you can email styleexpert@apa.org. And remember that really great authoritative information about APA style is going to come from the pub manual, the concise guide, mastering APA style, the APA style manual, and our website. So again, thank you all so much for joining us. We've really enjoyed having your questions, and keep an eye out for the recording. As I mentioned, you can share it with your students and things like that. So Robin, anything to add?
Thank you to the Style team, and thank you for everyone attending.